Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushua, Ba'ashim Ruchakadash, double honors to the elders and apostles of great millstone who rule well, and peace and blessings to the elect. Now, as you can see, I've just come across this video on the brother Bakar Amat, his backup page. And as you can see, it says Pentagon reportedly tracking extremists web searches including the truth about Black Lives Matter. Now, the spirit was kind of on me, to, watch this video, kind of, do my lesson, do a little lesson on it. Without further ado, I'm gonna let this one play.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Well, in the 6 months he's been president, Joe Biden has spent an inordinate amount of time telling us about the greatest threat of our time. And of course, it's not China. We're friends with China. No, it's white supremacy. According to the...
Yeah, I know it's always said, white supremacy. And that, when he's calling that out, that's going to appeal to a lot of Jays because it's going to seem that, he's calling out, these Edomites for doing wickedness. But in reality, he's just, he's telling you, and he's using the fact that you're basically enticed, that you're liking the words that he's saying. You like the words that he's saying, and he's using that to his advantage.
This community. Terrorism from white supremacy is the most lethal threat.
As a matter of fact, a scripture just came to mind. Hold on. Yeah, here it is. This is Psalms 55 and 11. Salakia. This is Psalms 55 and 21. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. And then, this is for this Biden character. He's trying to appeal to you. He's seeming like he's calling out a problem, that is commonly known now, As a matter of fact, Jake's getting roused up, but, really they don't know, which direction, they don't know where to go. So they're going, with what they think is right. It's, instead of, inquiring about the truth. Well, the truth is already out everywhere. So, it's not like for the most part that they don't know, because most of them will know. But, it seems like he's saying that, okay, we're going to do something about this. But, he's saying that, I believe he said that we were going to get the military, to deal with this problem. And, the newscast guy said, we expect them to deal with problems outside the country, but, not inside the country. So what's going on here? And how do you define this white? And how do you define, what he's saying is, how do you define a white supremacist or whatever? But war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were their swords drawn, because there's nothing but, just like Esau's nature, man, violence, because his blessing was a sword, man. And that's what burns in his heart. But, without further ado, we're going to go back. Going to continue with this.
The homeland today. Not ISIS, not Al-Qaeda, white supremacists.
I just said he's calling out some other ones. Like, those were what they quote unquote Islamic extremists, that's what they call them. Just the, as he's saying, he seems to be appeasing the crowd, if you hear.
Notice he never defined white supremacy. No one ever has. There's no actual definition for it, so it can apply to everyone who didn't vote for Joe Biden. That's why it's terrifying. That's why you should resist it. Biden has gone much farther than any other president, however, to politicize every federal agency, and that includes, terrifyingly, the military. Biden has directed the Defense Department, that's the department that's supposed to work on keeping us safe from foreign threats, to instead turn its attention on American citizens. Watch.
And if confirmed, I will fight hard to stamp out sexual assault and to rid our ranks of racist and extremists. The job of the Department of Defense is to keep America safe from our enemies. But we can't do that if some of those enemies lie within our own ranks.
Salakia, I paused the wrong thing. But yeah, like it says, they're telling you, oh, that they got to deal with these enemies. So, you know, being as they're showing that, oh, we're gonna do this, don't be surprised if one group gets one group gets says, hang on a minute, and then turns around. Don't be surprised if this, it tightens up, that even sparks off even more friction among people, because we already know that there's already, you know, very tense friction between people, especially with everything that's gone on. Um, so like I'm back now.
Oh, the enemies are within, says defense contractor Lloyd Austin. So how exactly are they, quote, fighting white supremacy? Well, they're working with a defense contractor called Moonshot CVE, which claims to track extremism. So the question is, how does Moonshot define extremism? Well, one example the company gave for white supremacy was anyone who searched for the term on Google or DuckDuckGo, this phrase, the truth about Black Lives Matter. If you wanted to show the truth about Black Lives Matter, you were by definition a white supremacist.
Oh, and that's interesting. So they can track you through what you search. And we already been telling you this. They have the technology, they have the technology to trace your phone calls, listen to what you're saying on the phone and things of that nature. What made you think that they couldn't, see what you typed if they really wanted to?
And an enemy of the United States. Vince Colonnese is the host of WMAL's The Vince Colonnese Show in Washington, D.C., which dominates his time slot. We're happy to have him with us tonight. Vince, thanks so much for coming on. So how can a search term, how can a question be a sign of extremism?
Well, if the outcome is contrived. I mean, this is the only reason you would include a question or just a simple fact-finding mission as a sign of extremism is if you are trying to rig the outcome of a study like this. So, where this comes from, this is called Moonshot CVE, as you noted. It's a contractor based out of London, England. They did a report earlier this year that gives us some indication of how they study extremism. It was released in June, and it was about white supremacy in the United States. And they just surveyed search terms nationwide. And one of the search terms that they included as an indicator of white supremacy is what you said, the truth about Black Lives Matter. Now, any number of people of all skin colors and concerns and political backgrounds could be searching for something like that. Perhaps you're Marcellus Wiley, a sports commentator on Fox Sports 1, who is looking for information on how Black Lives Matter sought to disrupt the Western prescribed nuclear family that was once on the Black Lives Matter website. Maybe you're a Black Lives Matter chapter trying to figure out where $90 million that was raised by the national organization was spent and wasted. Maybe you're the type of person who's just looking up the ideological leanings of its founders. One of them declaring, Patrisse Cullors, that she's a trained Marxist. Additionally, the Marxist leanings of the organization came out again this past week.
And like it was the brother Haran, he did a lesson on it a while back. And he was really going into, Black Lives Matter being a Marxist movement. And he actually had a recording, I believe. And there was a video that was basically of a guy that was talking, if I'm not mistaken. Then he did a lesson on it. But, and even these guys on the news, are, are saying it because it's something that's known.
Has it expressed support not for the people that are seeking?
But we know that, we can see that, them playing the narrative and, coming after, going after the men of the Lord. But, we can't be afraid. We have to be, we have to have faith that the Lord's going to defend us, man.
Freedom, but the communist regime in Cuba. So there are plenty of reasons to ask that question. But if you do, you may get swept up in an extremism database.
I got to ask, has there ever been a greater tragedy, a greater act of civic vandalism than politicizing the military in the way that the Biden administration has in the last 6 months? Have you ever seen anything like this before?
It's completely out of control. Asking questions, now extremism. Free inquiry, now extremism. It's getting worse.
Someone defend us from this. We have members of Congress who are supposed to. I wish they would. Vince Colonnese, I appreciate your insight and the information you brought. Thank you.
Thanks, Tucker.
So we've got an update for you tonight on the pilgrimage of Texas Democrats to Washington.
This is more or less finished. Like the video was self-explanatory. Really backing up things that brothers were saying. I really wanted to make this quick, so I'm gonna try to find 2 closing precepts. To close this lesson out on, and I'm gonna make sure I put the link to this video in the description in case brothers want to do their own lessons on this. Like it says in Matthew 5 and 5 and 11, because ultimately we know that they're gonna use this to come after the men of the Lord, because they know that we've gone in on Black Lives Matter and things like that, man. To make a covenant with Esau instead of following, doing what the Lord told you to do, man. Waiting upon the Lord to bring you out of this hellish condition that you're in. And this is Matthew 5 and 11. Blessed are ye when men shall revile you. And revile means hate, I get that word just for edification purposes.
Revile.
So like, it goes into, to this like, but it's more to, to condemn, to vilify, as we say, vilify, the demonize, man. Because we know that they're going to demonize us. But, they don't really have anything, they don't really have anything on us because, we conduct ourselves as we should in our day-to-day lives. Revile you and persecute you and shall say all manner of evil against you falsely for my sake, because that's ultimately what they're trying to gear up to, and rejoice and be exceedingly glad, for great is your reward in heaven, because that's what we look into. We look into the kingdom, man, because people forget, like even these quote unquote Christians, they forget, okay, the prophets of old, were persecuted and whatnot, man. Prophets of old were killed and caught hell and on all sorts, man. But they don't think it would happen today. What's the difference? Because we're the same spirits coming back, man. I believe it's in 2nd Ezra where it says great insurrection. Okay, yeah, here's 2nd Ezra 16 and 70. For there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. They shall be like madmen, sparing none. And that's what the military, they've already told you that they got the military to, to deal with issues. And they've got the technology to track things that you're Googling. So don't be surprised if, if they use this, as part of their agenda, as we know that they are, man. They shall be like madmen, sparing none, but spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord, because they will be going to be coming down on us because, we're the one that's speaking out against their wickedness, man. Chanting down Babylon, as they would say. Chant down Babylon. But anyway, yeah, for they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. Then shall they be known who are my chosen, because the Lord is going to make it known who is really dealing with. And we're going, the Lord is going to give us power, but we're going to, we're going to be tried, we're going to be tested. But if you're part of the elect, you're not good. The Lord's not going to test you more than you can handle, man. He's going to put the Spirit on you. You may have to die, but that's just solely a testimony of your faith, man. Because the Lord said ultimately his elect is going to be good in a fire. Let me read it, 73 again. Then shall be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as gold in the fire. And you know, I want to close out there. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushai, Ba'ashim Ruach HaKadosh. Until next time, Shalom.